Okay, some highlights from our chat room at greatstockpicks.com today. Really big breakout here in this YGE. Now, I didn't even have this on watch, but right out of the gate, I'll show you 5-minute candles. Every morning, for the first 5 or 10 minutes, I just type symbols into the chat room to help build our morning watch list, in addition to what I already have on the member page from the night before. And that just means, hey, let's add these to our watch list. We might get a setup. YGE was the first one I typed in this morning. I run a scanner trying to find unusual volume. And look at that crazy volume in the first 5 minutes. It was breaking out on the daily as I just showed you. Okay, so then when it put in this red candle, I said over the microphone, we have a strategy, if you will. I call this a fives flush candle. When you've got something really strong on nice volume that's breaking out, oftentimes you see this red candle here. And again, I didn't chase this up. I just want everybody to understand that. I just let this happen. And then when this 5 red candle comes, I call this a fives flush candle. And there's a good chance that this is just quick profit taking, taking out some stops, whatever. But there's a good chance that this turns and goes higher. Okay? And using a method I teach, I gave a verbal idea on this, which came out to be a 439 entry and a stop, a nickel below that. Now I'll bring in the next candle. Triggered right there, and the stop right down here. And then it was off to the races. And this thing ends up going over 5. So from 439 to 508, 69-cent move, which is a huge percentage gain, by the way, on a $4 stock, on a nickel risk that didn't get stopped out. That was one idea I put out for our members this morning. HGSI looked like this. When I also gave a verbal, I said over the high of the day break. What happened here is HGSI had a nice gap up the other day. These are 5-minute candles, by the way, with a high of 841. Okay, strong out of the gate this morning, and then sellers came in. And if these sellers fail, okay, I look to go long with a stop below this base. So the call on HGSI, also verbally over the microphone, I said 830. Worst case stop below this base, 815. So 15 cents risk, and there's the break. And then, man, all the way to 956, a $1.80 move. That's not right. Sorry about that. The $1.80 was still up. Excuse me. I do a lot of copying and pasting when updating the results page, and then I just change the symbols and the dates and so on. It makes it easier. And the $1.80 was up there from TEN yesterday. TEN gave us a $1.80 on 35 cents risk. Anyway, HGSI, a $1.26 move on 15 cents risk. Doesn't get too much better than that. A big move there. A couple other things I mentioned today. Actually, Urban didn't. This was more of a, hey, this one could work. Urban was gap down, Urban Outfitters, and had that stair step look on 5s, nice volume. And I looked on the daily and it had support in this area. I said first break of a previous 5s high, you might catch the bottom. I didn't take this one and didn't. That was more of a, hey, this could work type attitude. I said I'm not going to take it. But anyway, it ended up going up and taking out the high of the day. So it would have worked nicely. And I know I got a thank you from at least one member who did that. What else do we have? DNDN, you probably saw that today. When DNDN took this crazy move right here, and then moved up higher again, I'd already missed this move. But then you have the whole lunchtime period where this thing consolidates. And again, this was a verbal idea. I said, hey, this is basing. See this tight base here? Said this over the microphone. This is basing with the high of day still to the left. What does that mean? You can take the base break, 1360. Stop goes below the base, so it's pretty tight stop, about 20 cents. And you have the high of day to the left as another catalyst. Okay, so 1360. Good chance that it takes out the early high, which was 1364. And then when DNDN starts lighting up the new highs ticker, they might chase, which they did. As you all know, DNDN's been crazy strong lately. And that worked too, 1360, and it made it to, it made it all the way to 1452. And even for people in our chat room that missed that, when DNDN looked like this, even though this seemed extended, because the daily chart, you had a big old engulfing candle over the shorts and sellers that came in yesterday. I said, hey, this gets through 14, it could rip some more. And you had a couple equal highs right here at 1396. So I said 1398, I'm going to put in I would consider, and I actually did take the trade, with a limit of 14. If it gets to 13.97, I think is what I said, I'll have a limit order filled out of 14, and I'll be darned it didn't get right through there, and I got a nice quick scalp, and that's all I was looking for, was a scalp there. So there was another idea I put out there, DNDN one. JVA, the swing trade, I killed the rest of it today. No other reason than it's just it quit going up, and I was really looking for a short squeeze. Now this may squeeze later this week or next week, whenever, but I made 6.6% in holding it over 2 or 3 days, and I'm happy with that. I'll move on to the next one. I just wanted to update. I sold the rest today at 9.35, so I ended up with a 9.40 average on my sell and an 8.81 average on my buy. So it ended up being 6.6%. And I think that's it. I had a couple calls today that I made that I ended up canceling. Like, I put out a call and then said, hey, never mind, because the market was hitting lows or whatever. I had reasons, but a couple calls that I canceled. And that's it. A couple other low-risk calls that just moved up a couple pennies, went sideways, and gave us time to get out flat. Nothing really horrible today. But some real nice ideas as far as risk-reward goes, with the YGE, HGSI, Urban, which I didn't get, and then DNDN was nice too. So anyway, all right, I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll put out a video tomorrow night from any calls that we make during the chat room tomorrow. All right, have a good night.